the standard bidding documents or the simplified bidding documents for the procurement of infra. And of course, you follow the rules for the procurement of goods, you follow the rules for the procurement of infra, and a separate rule also for the procurement of consulting services. So, ganun po, importante yung maintindihan natin itong mga definitions na ito. So, ano yung goods? Goods refer to all items. Lahat ng item, lahat ng supplies, materials, and goods does not refer to material goods. Okay? It could also refer to services or general support services. This is qualified by this exception, except consulting services. Kasi yung consulting, may services din yon. So, ang magpo-fall lang po sa goods ay yung general support services. Pag consulting services, doon na yan sa consulting services. So, ulitin natin, refers to all items, supplies, materials, and general support services except consulting services and infrastructure projects which may be needed in the transaction of public businesses or government undertaking such as, but not limited to, equipment, furniture, stationery, materials for construction, personal and non-personal or contractual services such as the repair and maintenance of equipment and furniture. Yan. Or repair and maintenance of motor vehicle. Pwede rin yun. Equipment na rin po yan. Tracking, may services po ito. Tracking, hauling, janitorial security services, and related or analogous services. Such as, but not limited again to, lease of office space, media advertisements, health maintenance services, and other services essential to the operation of the procuring entity. So this list of goods, okay, material goods and services may not be complete. Kung halimbawa mayroon kayo na-skip na ipo-procure, wala dito, well, pwede po yung related or analogous services na napapasok po dito. So therefore, procurement of goods yan. So therefore, you follow the rules on the procurement of goods. Okay. Pag infra, ano naman yung infrastructure projects? So from the definition, by the way, you can see the definition, these definitions in section 5 in the definition of terms of the IRR and even the law. So infrastructure projects include the construction, improvement, demolition. O tayo sa DepEd, meron tayong mga buildings na nirehabilitate or kailangan i-demolish or i-repair, restore. Yan. So that would fall part under infra. Unless na yung repair nyo po ay minor repairs, for example, then pwede po na siya doon sa services, doon sa general support services, then therefore procurement of goods po yun. Pero pag major repair, dito na po tayo dyan sa infrastructure project. So repair, restoration, or maintenance of civil works component. If you will look at the definition of terms in the IRR, meron pa po dyan. Repair, restoration, or maintenance of roads and bridges, railways, airports, seaports, and communication facilities. Yan, parang ganun po yung yung kompletong definition. And or maintenance of civil works components of IT projects, irrigation, flood control and drainage, water supplies, sanitation, sewerage, and solid management, national buildings, meron pa po doon, school buildings, hospital buildings, yan. So kayo po sa DepEd, school buildings, kaya dito po yan sa infrastructure project. So, hindi lang ito po na kompleto dito, pero ganun po yun doon sa definition of terms po natin. Okay, what ano naman yung consulting services? It refers to services for infrastructure projects. Ano yung mga services for infrastructure projects? Makikita po natin dito sa baba. Design, architectural design. Those are services for infrastructure projects or construction supervision. Yun po ay services for infrastructure projects. So therefore, pasok po yan dito sa definition. Or any other types of projects or activities requiring adequate external, technical, and professional expertise. If you will notice, pagdating po sa consulting services, meron na pong requirement na technical and professional expertise. To distinguish po doon sa services na magpo-fall under goods, kasi ang requirement lang po doon ay general support services. So kung yung pong services would just be a general support, it would fall under goods. But if the services that you will be requiring would require technical and professional expertise, then most probably, consulting services po yan. So, ganun lang po yung pag-decide. Kasi kayo po ang magde-decide. Ang procuring entity po ang magde-decide kung ang pinoprocure nyo po ay goods and services na hindi po consulting services, kung ang pinoprocure nyo po ay infra or consulting services. That's why we have this definition of terms. So that are beyond the capability of the government to undertake. Beyond the capability dahil ito po ay would require adequate external, technical, and professional expertise. Such as, ito po yan. Again, while we have this itemization ng consulting services, hindi po ibig sabihin na pag wala po dito sa listahan na ito, hindi na siya consulting services. Pwede po ang services na nasa isip ninyo, na ipoprocure nyo, would still fall under consulting services. Kasi hindi po ito naman limited lang dito sa mga ito, like advisory and review services, pre-investment and feasibility studies, design, construction supervision, management services, technical services, or studies. To guide you, to better help you in deciding yung pong ating IRR, meron po yung mga annexes. Okay? The annexes in the IRR are part of the IRR. You have Annex A, B hanggang H. Hanggang H po yan, Annex H. Meron po tayong Annex B para sa consulting services, and Annex B for the implementing guidelines. Actually, Annex B on the implementation, but it also contains the more detailed listing of the different kind of consulting services. So, pwede po ninyong i-consult yung Annex B just in case may doubt po kayo whether a particular service that you're procuring would fall under consulting services or would fall under procurement of goods and services, which is the general support services. Okay, so yun po. I hope that's clear. Now, key concepts in government procurement. You will encounter some of these concepts, and this will be discussed, of course, more extensively as you discuss the procurement process and as you go on in the other topics that will be discussed by the other resource persons. We have just highest rated and responsive bid. This is for consulting services, or sometimes the single rated and responsive bid. Then competitive bidding, of course. Another name for this is public bidding or competitive public bidding. Then there's the alternative mode of procurement or the alternative methods of procurement. There's eligibility checking. And even for consulting, you will encounter shortlisting, approved budget for the contract or the ABC, non-discretionary, criteria or the non-discretionary pass-fail criteria. The lowest calculated and responsive bid or the LCRB or sometimes single calculated and responsive bid. The professional procurement officials, penal and civil liability. So I'll not discussing these concepts, but ano po yung methods natin? Ano po yung different methods sa procurement? Okay, general, ito po yung default na tinatawag, competitive bidding. Saan po natin makikita ito? If you will read the shortest section and the shortest article ng procurement law, that's nasa section 10 po ito. What does section 10? All procurement shall be done through competitive public bidding. Lahat ng procurement shall, so mandatory, be done through competitive bidding. But it provides for exception, and the exception is what we call the alternative methods of procurement. And these are limited source bidding, direct contracting, repeat order, shopping, and negotiated procurement. And of course, sa negotiated procurement, there are 14 different types of negotiated procurement that will be discussed to you once the alternative methods of procurement is discussed. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin yan? Meron palang competitive bidding, may alternative naman. Pwede palang kami dito sa alternative. Hindi po. Okay? You can only use the alternative methods of procurement. Ito po yan. In highly exceptional cases. Section, by the way, yung alternative methods of procurement, if you will read, ulitin ko po ulit yung actual wording, if I recall it right, yung actual wording po ng Section 10 is, nakalagay po, all procurement shall be done through competitive bidding except as provided for under Article 16 of this Act. Except as provided for under Article 16. If you will read the IRR, except as provided for under Rule 16 of this IRR. So, Rule 16, ang sections po niyan, Section 48 to, I think, 54. And under Section 48, 48.2, nakalagay po doon, the alternative methods of procurement shall be resorted to only in highly exceptional cases. So, ano ibig sabihin po nito? Yung pong paggamit po natin ng alternative methods of procurement ay gagamitin lang po natin in highly exceptional cases. Okay, ano yung mga highly exceptional cases? Ito po yun. Ito po mga instances na ito. Of course, may definition po yung mga and second, okay, so hindi lang po in highly exceptional cases. Section 48.1 of the IRR also provides that a resort to the alternative methods of procurement should promote economy and efficiency. Okay, take note, will makaka-economize pa rin ang government. Definitely, pag public bidding, ang intention nga doon, makaka-economize ang government because may competition. At ibibigay ninyo sa pinakamababa because there's competition. The idea there is that yung mga prospective bidders would, as much as possible, lower their price dahil alam niya may kalaban siya. Otherwise, baka matalo siya. So, pababaan ng presyo, kaya economy and efficiency. Definitely, sa alternative methods, mas efficient tayo, mas mabilis po yung procurement process natin compared sa competitive bidding na meron po tayo mga timelines na kailangang sundin. Okay, so promote economy and efficiency. As a matter of fact, may nakalagay din po sa Section 48 that in all instances of the alternative methods of procurement, the most advantageous price for the government shall prevail. I think that's the wording. And lastly, justified by the conditions provided under the rules. Yan. So take note, as members of the it's not just deciding, highly exceptional cases ito. Sige, ito na ang gawin natin. Okay naman, this will promote economy and efficiency kasi mapapabilis tayo. So, pwede naman tayong pumili ng pinakamababa na presyo. But lastly, and this is also very important for all of us, it should be justified by the conditions. Kaninong condition? Condition ba ninyo, procuring entity? No. Condition po ng batas and the IRR. Justified by the conditions provided in this act or provided in these rules. So, it's very important na pag diniscuss po sa inyo yung alternative methods of procurement, you should understand all the conditions that are necessary to justify resort to the alternative methods of procurement. Marami po sa atin napapahamak. Marami pong nababasa ninyo na mga nakakasuhan. Why? Because they resorted to the alternative methods of procurement rather than competitive public bidding. And yun pala, mali talaga sila because ito po yung requirement. Okay? Justified by the conditions. If there are 5 conditions, all the 5 conditions have to be present for you to be able to recommend the use of the alternative methods of procurement. So, gusto ko lang pong i-highlight yan. And maybe once the alternative methods of procurement is discussed with you in the succeeding days, you should understand ano yung mga conditions sa paggamit ng limited source bidding, ano yung conditions sa paggamit ng direct contracting, repeat order, shopping, and each of the different negotiated procurement modalities na pinapayagan po under the rules. So, it's important for that. Okay. The scope and coverage of GPRA. But before that, check ko po, may mga